Hey now, it's your brother Marcus, Mr. Elements of Inspiration, with another edition of the Elements of Inspiration show. And as you all know, I give you the best interviews on this side of the globe with celebrities, people of interest, the element of inspiration, Brother Marcus, quicker, picker-uppers, and everything else in between. Today we have Miss Ashley. America calls her AP. She is definitely in the building with us today. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you so much for having me too.
I'm so glad that you were able to, join in with us. I know you're very busy mom.
Yes.
And you got a lot of great things going on.
Yes.
Now,
thank you.
One of the things that I want to say is the first time that I actually noticed you was on social media, and you were with one of your children, and
yes,
he has,
Messiah.
Yes. What's his name again?
Messiah.
Messiah. What a powerful name.
Yes.
And as I was, doing my social media thing, I noticed you and I said, wait a minute. And I'm watching you and him interact, and something that you said that really touched my heart. You were making it very clear that, your son has and deals with autism, but autism does not have him.
Right.
That blew me away. And of course, I had to jump on and try to find out where this woman is and who her son is. And I also noticed that Indigo Inspire also reposted something that you did on social media. And I happen to know those people too. And I said, you know what? We got to talk to her.
Yes.
So tell me about, tell me about you. Tell me about, where you're from and, how you grew up and all of that good stuff. And then we'll get into your son and your relationship with your son. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. Tell us about you.
Okay. So my name's Ashley. Everyone calls me AP. I am from Las Vegas, born and raised. I lost my mother at an early age. I was 2. And then from there, life was just, I can't even say a roller coaster. It was just down. Roller coaster is like up and down, up and down. It was just down. And it's crazy because I was only 2, but I just had no hope. I had nothing, to look forward to. And, from the age of 2, I was in every type of abuse you could possibly think of. And, I finally was listened to and was put into foster care around 12 years old, I want to say. 11 or 12, I went to foster care, and I didn't have a good experience with that. I thought that I actually couldn't have children because of the abuse I endured when I was 5 to 7 years old. So I really thought I couldn't have children. Yeah. I got married at 19. And I ended up pregnant with my oldest, and which was crazy. I still couldn't believe it. Like, I thought I couldn't have kids, and I got pregnant, and then I ended up having Messiah, which was a huge surprise because we were actually separated. And I ended up pregnant with Messiah, and I did have Messiah early. I had pretty severe high blood pressure, and so they did induce me. So I had him at 34 weeks, and within 3 hours he just stopped breathing, and he was airlifted to the nearest children's hospital, and it was crazy. I literally signed myself out of the hospital, and they're like, "No, you just had the baby." I'm like, "I'm going to be with my child," and so I had him at an Air Force base here in Vegas, and then they airlifted him to the nearest children's hospital, which is also here in Vegas. So then I went there as well, and he was on life support for about 6 to 8 weeks. And I remember the doctors continued to tell me, like, these are our sickest babies in the unit, and we've done all we can. Like, it was so difficult seeing him that way. You couldn't touch him. You couldn't. If you would say something to him, his blood pressure would spike. So he had the earmuffs on. I couldn't touch him. I couldn't hold him. I couldn't do anything for weeks. But God said otherwise, and my baby pushed through everything that they thought he wouldn't push through. And I ended up being able to take him home. And from a very, I want to say around 5 or 6 months, I realized something was just different about him. Mm-hmm. And I remember telling myself, when I was pregnant, first of all, let me rewind it. When I was pregnant with my oldest son, I remember telling myself, nobody ever fought for me as a child. And no matter what this baby is, a girl or a boy, I am going to be not the parent that I needed, but better than the parents that I needed growing up. And I knew, like, I craved that, you know, just, I wanted to be a mom so bad. And I just wanted to show my children what I never had, times 10. Yeah. And so, my first son, he wasn't the typical toddler. He didn't have tantrums. It was like a breeze. Like there was no terrible twos. There was no horrible threes. There was none of that. It was just a breeze. Mm-hmm. And so when Messiah came along, people would compare him to my oldest, which is his name is Jeremiah. And I'm like, well, you can't really compare Messiah to Jeremiah because he wasn't the typical toddler. He didn't do regular toddler things. He was just very observant. Like he was just there. Yeah. Just very peaceful. I never had any regular, like regular toddlers. He just was there, just loving and quiet and just, yeah. So when Messiah came around, when he was born, I noticed he was different from other toddlers, not like Jeremiah because I couldn't compare him to that. But right. I thought Messiah was deaf at first. I'm like, maybe he can't hear because he would never respond to like his name or certain things. He never crawled. He just never, he wasn't the typical toddler, or baby, I should say at first. And then, he just cried all the time. He just cried. And I didn't have much help. I started becoming more around my family because I ended up getting a divorce, from my first husband, and I moved back to Vegas. And it was just, I didn't have any help from him. So it was just me by myself with my 2 children. And I was around my family, but they weren't helpful when it came to Messiah. And then I couldn't trust anyone because Messiah was extremely, I can be very transparent here, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Messiah was extremely violent. He was extremely aggressive. It got to the point where, let me backtrack again. My 26th birthday, I went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and of course I had Messiah and Jeremiah with me, and Messiah cried the whole time. He cried the whole entire time. And I remember my aunt saying, Ashley, I think it's time for you to get him checked out. And I knew something was different, and I kind of thought maybe it could be autism, but he was only like 8 or 9 months, so I wasn't sure. So I'm like, okay, let me just, So I went to his doctor, and I told her like something's different about him, and I just don't know what it is. I don't know if he can't hear. I don't know. And he just cries, and he's just angry, and it's just, I can't soothe him. And she wouldn't give me a referral for anything at first. And then I started studying the law, and I'm like, I'm the consumer.
That's right.
I need you to do your job so that you're not subconsciously violating my rights. And I need you to give me a referral so that I can get my son checked out. It's not going to hurt you. So when she saw that I was serious, she gave me that referral. And, we were referred to neurologists, positive kids, all these things, early intervention, and 3 different doctors. Oh, it's autism, it's autism, it's autism. Now, the appointment took maybe like 3 or 4 months to get. So by that time, he was a little past 1. And but they all diagnosed him with autism. And at first, I wasn't in denial because I kind of knew. And then I had also done a questionnaire online, and everything was yes. Every single question was yes. And, but it felt like, I became very upset with God. And it was like, well, God, everything that I've been through, and because I couldn't have babies, you gave me this miracle, and like, why would you give me a child like this? Like, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. And so I began doing what I have to do. He got his therapy, ABA, behavior, speech, everything. But it seemed like nothing was working. It got to the point where I had to wear a helmet because he would bang his head all day, every day. I mean, police would come to my house because the neighbors were reporting, thinking I was abusing Messiah or any of the kids. At the time, I only had two. But there's always screaming, and it was always Messiah. There was always screaming, and his cry wasn't the typical cry. It was, we call it, we joke about it now. We call it the buff cry because it was like a cry on steroids. And it was all day, every day, unless he's eating. It was all day, every day. Couldn't take him anywhere, getting kicked out places. Then I got to the point where I had to put a harness on him. People who aren't educated in this area, they call it a leash. It's not a leash, it's a harness. Because Messiah didn't, and still to this day, he's 15, Messiah does not understand danger. He does not understand you can't just walk in the street and a car. He doesn't understand these things. So, and back then he ran all the time. Like, he would just run off all the time. He would just run off. Leaving the house. Like, it was just, you have to keep a good eye on him. He had to have someone holding his hand or the harness. And people would give me issues about that. And so it was on top of me having this special needs child. Like, I couldn't handle the judgment. I was always just offended on the defense. I became embarrassed when it came to him. I didn't want to go anywhere. And you get kicked out of places. I was at a courthouse one time paying a ticket, and they kicked me out, and told me that time get a babysitter. And it was just like wow. People don't understand the moments. Like, people don't understand. You really don't know what someone's going through, and that movie that Tyler Perry put out, I forgot the name of it, with Roger B. Henson.
I know it's exactly what you're talking about. I forgot
the name of it.
I can do that all by myself, I believe.
No, the newest one. The
latest one that he has.
Kind of like snaps. And she's going through all these things. It's just one word. I think it's called. I forgot the name of it.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
And I can definitely relate to that because it's like things are just being packed on top of each other, and they don't understand. A smile doesn't mean anything. Sometimes it's just. Like, I'm writing a book, it's called Behind My Smile. People have no idea how often, especially back then, I was smiling, but I was feeling so tormented on the inside. And then the thoughts that I was having towards my child, it was very, very, very demonic thoughts that I was having towards him. I'm able to talk about it now because I understand that it was definitely the enemy. I definitely understand what that was. In that moment, though, I didn't recognize it, but I knew that it was wrong, because I decided, like, why would you give me a son like this? Why would you give me a child like this? He would hit my older son. Then I got pregnant with my daughter, and he would hit me, and he would bite, and I would have these thoughts of hurting my son. And of course, thank God, I never acted on any of those moments, but there's so many other caregivers, moms, dads, sisters, brothers, who have these feelings and they're embarrassed to talk about. They're embarrassed to talk about them, and they're embarrassed to get help because they think they're going to get in trouble. And I was having these thoughts every day. Messiah ended up getting really, really sick. To this day, we don't know what it was. He was diagnosed with so many issues, so many disorders it wasn't we started a huge campaign called Hope for Messiah. It was to the point where he actually looked possessed. I had preachers and pastors from all over the world, not the country, the world, reaching out to me because that one of the videos that I posted about Messiah pretty much seeking help went so viral. The Hope for Messiah campaign, like, just reached everywhere. And people were calling me saying, oh, he's possessed, and he's this, or it's dystonia, or it's this, like, so many things. I mean, just doctors, preachers, from all over the world. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to believe. I had him in the hospitals here in Vegas. He would be fine one moment, and then he would just pass out. Or his mouth will get stuck a certain way. Or his arm will be contorted backwards. And it'll be like that for like 12 hours. It was very difficult to look at and to watch. And no doctor knew what was wrong with him. No one. And at this time, he was like 5. and no one knew what was wrong with him. Then I ended up moving to LA with my best friend and renting out a room there. And I said, I'm going to take him to Children's Hospital of LA. And amazing hospital, by the way. Doctors flew from other parts of the country just to see Messiah. Still couldn't figure out what was going on with him. They would diagnose him with something, and then the last diagnosis, it was dystonia. And we were pretty confident that it was dystonia. But then dystonia cells don't start in your sleep. He started having cells in his sleep as well. So that figured that out. But then he was diagnosed with so many things before that. And then this beautiful, amazing holistic chiropractor, her first name is Faith. I forgot her last name. Mm-hmm. But she reached out to me, and she was in, I forgot the city in LA, but it was like an hour and 30-minute drive. Now, obviously, I couldn't work anymore. And then started to GoFundMe. It didn't do well, but it did well enough to put gas in my car to help me drive for Messiah's appointment. Now, these appointments were like $500 a session. She saw him completely for free for a week. Wow. And we drove there twice a week. And she she put him on a diet. She said, "This is what you're gonna do. You're not gonna give him any sugar. You're not gonna give him anything that's in a box." And I'm like, "Oh Lord Jesus, this sounds expensive." She said, "Anything that's in a box, you're not gonna give him. Anything that has more than 4 ingredients in it, you're not gonna give him. If there's sugar, you're not gonna give it to him. It's gonna be gluten-free, dye-free, dairy-free." She said, "If it's an ingredient you can't pronounce, you're not going to give it to him."
Wow.
It was so expensive. It was so expensive. And I didn't see a change when it came to the episodes, but I seen a change when it came to the autism. Yeah. I did. And I did that diet for about 6 months. It was just too expensive. I couldn't afford it. I could not afford it. Mm-hmm. But I did see a change in like his tantrums and his meltdowns. I did see a huge change in that. Slowly but surely, I couldn't afford it anymore, and that's when I started to get deeper into church and to God. Mm-hmm. And I joined One Church LA, and I was always I always prayed, but it wasn't until 2017 where I actually became a praying woman, because you can pray, but are you warring? And I started to learn about that when I was still in LA, and how to really pray and how to speak the word over my children. And I remember in 2015, my best friend started getting, my Messiah's doctor, every time you would say hi, Messiah would slap you. I don't know why, something about the word hi, he would slap you. I started to learn everything that caused Messiah to be violent and aggressive. I started to study his body language like clockwork. I would just study him. So I knew if he moved a certain way, he's about to slap somebody. So I started to learn how to grab his hand, or to, my whole life revolved around studying Messiah. And so one day his doctor came in. He knew to take off his glasses because that triggered Messiah. For some reason, he would literally go just ham. And this doctor was so gentle and so patient. And he said, "You can get paid to take care of your own son. Like, there is no way you have him in daycare. Like he's too aggressive. He's too violent." And he had already been kicked out of the daycare in LA. Yeah. So that's when I found out that I can get paid to be my own son's caregiver, which was great. And they pay you pretty well. Mm-hmm. You can either hire someone or it can be yourself. And I didn't trust anybody else inside. So I was able to starting to make ends meet now that he gave me that resource. So then, Messiah ended up, maybe about a couple of months after that, we found out that my best friend could get paid to be both kids' daycare. Yeah. So I just wanted to do something. It's just like, you always wanted to act. You're in LA. You came out here for Messiah, but now you're just here. So if the state's going to pay me for it, just go do something outside of Messiah. And I'm like, I could never live out my dreams. Like, I have a child with special needs. Like, I just didn't think I can do anything for me anymore. My whole life revolved around Messiah. Even my oldest son, I didn't realize I was putting him on the back burner. I didn't realize it. And so she convinced me. I started going to auditions, and it felt good. Like, it felt really good. And I started booking work, and I'm like, oh, I can do this, and I trusted her. I trusted my best friend with Messiah. And one day, I hear Messiah outside when I come home from my audition. And I hear him screaming. And I'm like, oh. And I go in the house, and my best friend's sitting on the couch, and she's like, Messiah's been crying for 3 hours.
Wow.
And I'm like, why? And she's like, I think I told him no or stop or something like that. I don't know. And she's like, there's poop all over the walls. And I'm like, oh. That's it. He was still in pull-up. And Messiah he would literally poop and take off his pull-up anywhere. Walmart, church, anywhere. And he would throw pull-up. It was very difficult.
Yeah.
Which is why I just chose to stay in the house. Like it was too much. And then he was afraid of everything. Trees, carpet, if it looked a certain way. He was afraid of everything. And so I remember one church, LA, they had got me a therapist because my old therapist had left. And so I was kind of in my feelings. I'm like, I'm never going to get therapy again. I've always been in therapy just for myself.
Yeah.
And I knew that I needed a therapist again. And so one church, LA, set me up with free therapy every other week. Her name was Opal. And I would go to their resource center every other week. Now, this particular day, Opal wasn't due to see me until the next week. And she lived way in Santa Monica. I lived in North Hollywood. So it was quite a bit of a drive, especially the hour that it was. And I just remember feeling rage. I think that's the first time I actually felt rage. And I knew if I went in that room, something bad was going to happen. I knew it. I knew it because of what I was feeling.
Yeah.
And every time I heard her scream, it just increased. And I remember saying, God, like, I'm getting to that point where I'm like, I didn't even think that I loved my child. I felt like I was just going through the motions. And I called one church and I told them, like, hey, I need to speak to Opal. Like, he just have to call me. Like, I told them what was going on. And they're like, no, she's not here till next week. And she heard the panic and you know, the panicking in my voice. I forgot the young lady's name who answered the phone. But somehow Opal agreed and she drove from Santa Monica the week before just to see me. So she was like, meet me at one church. I met her at one church and I told my best friend, I said, if I get Messiah out of the room, I'm going to hurt him. I said, I can't describe to you what I feel, but I know if I see him, I'm going to hurt him. And so I told her, don't let me near him because I don't understand what this is that I'm feeling.
Yeah. And
he had never been hit before. He had never been spanked. He had never been plucked. He'd never been, unless someone else snuck and did it. My excuse was always, oh, he has autism, he has autism, he has autism. You know, there was never any consequence, discipline, none of that. And so I got in the car and my best friend put Messiah in the car. He's screaming. I'm like, she said, don't look back. I knew even if I looked back, I would have snapped. I knew it. So I had to zone out. So we drove to the church, to the resource center, and they had staff there waiting to get Messiah out of the car so I could just walk in. And I remember Opal, she was there already, and she said, I told her everything. Everything I just told you, I told her.
Yeah.
And I told her, like, I don't want him anymore. I don't. Now, mind you, 2 weeks before this, I had just told the doctor, give me whatever paperwork I need. I'm going to put him in a home. I can't do it. I just told the doctor, I cannot do this anymore. I don't want him. I can't do this anymore. I'm going crazy and I'm going to end up hurting him or hurting myself. Like, I cannot do this. And he gave me the paperwork. I'm telling you, that packet was thick. Like, he sent me to someone else in the hospital, and she gave me all the paperwork, actually. And so I told Opal everything, and then told her, like, I couldn't do it. And she looks at me. And I'm just sitting there like, lady, say something.
I know, right? And
I'm like, and she said, I just wanted to make sure you're done. I wanted to make sure I heard everything you said. And I said, yeah, I'm done. I said, but I'm not leaving here with him. I told her, I'm not leaving here with him. I can't do it. I'm not leaving here with him. And she said, when are you going to stop handicapping him? And I said, what? And she said, when are you going to stop treating him like he's handicapped?
Wow.
Like he can't do anything. And I was so offended. And I just looked, I'm like, what? I just told you he's a poop on the wall. He hits me. He bites me. He says this. He said, keep out of places. I'm like, I just wanted her to be on my side.
Yeah.
I just wanted her to just agree with me and blah, blah, blah. And she said, yeah, I heard what you said. She said, but you're also a woman of God. And she said, the Bible says, spare the rod, not the child. And I was like, I'm not hitting my child. I'm not hitting my child. And that's another thing now. Now I have a different outlook on that. Now I understand what rod actually means, which means correction. You can correct without beating a child.
Absolutely.
And having an actual wooden rod. But that's a whole other story. But she broke it down to me so beautifully. And she pretty much was telling me, like, he can learn. He can learn. He just learns a different way.
Yes, that part.
And yes, and she said, you don't have to give in to the autism. And she told me, like, let the autism work for you. And I when I tell you, I heard the words, but I wasn't listening. I wasn't listening to her. I just heard the words because my ears work. Like, I wasn't trying to hear none of that. And I'm just like, lady. And she said, I believe God chose you specifically. You have what it takes to help Messiah. And she said, you think Messiah is your assignment, but you're his assignment as well. And I'm like, what? Like, and she said a lot. She did a lot. And I'm not going to lie, I left there with an attitude. I was like, hey, I ain't coming to see her no more. Like, and so I got in the car, obviously. But when I laid down that night, everything started to make sense. I started to think about what she was saying. And I started to really do research on autism and what it meant to the, in the brain, and understanding what neurodivergent means and atypical brains. And I started to really dive headfirst into understanding, the science behind it and what it does, like what's actually happening in their brain. And that made me study him even more. And I started to tell Messiah no. Like, I would give him candy for dinner just to have peace. I would give him whatever he wanted just to have peace. And that wasn't good. If I would have kept that up, Messiah would still be hitting me. And one thing I always said was, he's going to grow up and he's going to be bigger than me. I don't know, maybe know that, but I always said, he's going to be bigger than me one day. And he could really hurt me. I always said that. And now Messiah is almost 6 feet tall. He's the tallest one in my house, which is crazy. And he's cute. He's tall. He's so tall.
And such a beautiful
oh my
person.
God, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's the sweetest. You would never believe the things that we went through. Like, I used to say the things that Messiah put me through, but he didn't put me through anything. He didn't ask to have autism, which is just autism. All it is the wiring of your brain is just different. The route that it takes one person to get to this destination, Messiah's brain takes a different route, and it may take a little longer. Yeah. And it took, for me, him having autism and not autism controlling him made a huge difference, because it helped me gain patience. I didn't have patience before. Yeah. And now I have so much patience. I still struggle sometimes, of course, but I have patience in areas I never thought I would have patience in.
And that's because we're
smile through things.
Yeah, we're human. And one of the things that stood out to me is one of the videos that, and it touched me, because we see a lot of stuff on social media, but when I saw that video of you and your son, and you were saying they said that he would never be able to talk, and and you said you guys were talking, and he was like saying how old he is, and and he's talking and he's responding with great wisdom and understanding, and that only in my opinion it came from you being that true mother, understanding that you are assigned to him, and that only you can give him the tools that he needs to become who he is today. Like having conversations, and I see other clips with him and his brother, and I'm like, this, I was like, it gets no better, but it is getting better, because you're raising a sweet, powerful young man, beautiful young man.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say, I had to reach out to you. I know you're all the way, on the other side of the country, but I had to get this interview, because I believe it is of great importance that many people that have children that are dealing with autism, that it's not over. You have to have patience, love, understanding, not being afraid of getting counseling. And, I go to counseling too. I got a therapist. I don't be playing. I don't care how popular or famous I am. Yeah, we all need it. But I just wanted to say, thank you for sharing your sons, your family with us, because you didn't have to, but you did. Now,
and it's difficult.
Yeah.
People don't understand how difficult it could be. But if it could save one person, because people are really out there harming their children because they can't take it. They're locking their children up in cages. I've seen it.
Yeah.
They're locking them up in cages like animals because that's all they see. And I didn't lock them up, but I had the thought. I had thoughts of hurting him. And my God, I can't even imagine life without Messiah. He's so pure. He's so, he's an angel. He's come such a long way. And I get so many messages on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, like, how. And so many people, they just stick to, probably never going to talk. And I was that person as well, too. But I also have a small part of me. I'm like, I'm going to hear my son say mom one day. He's going to say mom. And even before he started talking, if I asked Jeremiah, especially after my session with Opal, if I asked Jeremiah, how was your day at school? Guess what? I asked Messiah. He never responded, but I asked him every single day.
There you go.
Every day I asked him, how was your day at school? And when his words started to come in, even though he started talking at 7, but he didn't start comprehending until about 8 or 9. Yeah. He would just repeat everything. Everything he heard, he would repeat. So then it was, Messiah, how was your day? Messiah, how was your day? And I'll say, oh, good. And he'd say, oh, good. And that was good enough for me.
Yeah.
That was good enough for me because his words are downloading and they're still coming in. And then I taught him how to pray again because he used to have really, really bad anxiety. And I said, you know what? Even if he doesn't understand what prayer is, he's going to learn these prayers. He gonna learn these scriptures. And so he started to learn them and he would recite them every single morning, even today. He says them. He prays the scriptures every single day. And I said, people don't understand. Even if your faith isn't, if he didn't have faith at the time, he didn't understand what scripture was. But I had enough faith for him. You know what I'm saying? And he was still speaking the word of God. Regardless, he was still speaking the word of God, and it worked. It worked, and it's still working. And it is just amazing to see. And those thoughts, I remember God telling me, because I genuinely thought I hated my son. I thought I must be a monster. I must be. What's wrong with me? And it wasn't God's thought.
Yeah, and what I think also
demonic.
I think it's the situation that you hated. You hated the situation so much that it clouded, the love that you had for your son. And, I know that you're a great mother. I absolutely, I know that. You can feel it from seeing you on social media. You know what I mean? Powerful. And it was so interesting to me because, like I said, right before I was getting ready to interview you today, I was just pulling up some information because I wanted to get the video and everything. And, one of the people that are on this coast, they happen to post something, with you and your son. And I'm like, isn't that crazy? Oh. And I'm like, this is so funny because I don't talk to them all the time. And to see that was just awesome. So that you're touching people that are just sensitive in general, that need to open up their hearts and their their airwaves, their social media to you. Yeah. And I want to open this up to you as well. And I know, don't take it any kind of way. Just take it as it is. What is your Cash App? Because I want people to be able to, to sow, to help in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And you don't do this for money or anything. You do this because you love your son. But I believe that people can show some more love and say, if they can't reach you or call you because you're difficult to get in touch with, at least they can send you some sort of financial remuneration that will assist with gas money or, electric bill or something. So what is your Cash App? And I want you to give it to us 3 times, nice and slow.
Okay. It's A as in apple, and then Prentice. So that's P as in Paul, R, E, N as in Nancy, T as in Tom, ISS. So A Prentice.
All right, y'all got that? A Prentice. Okay, everybody? A Cash App, of course, A Prentice. All right. So that's APRENTISS. Make sure you go ahead and Cash App them. How can people follow you on social media?
My Facebook still has my marital name, but it's
all right.
Ashley Watkins. It's Ashley Watkins. Underneath it'll say Ashley Prentice in parentheses. My Instagram is Ashley Prentice. At the top it'll say AP. And then my TikTok is I am Ashley Prentice.
I love it. I am Ashley Prentice. Not me, but her.
Yes.
But thank you so much for being a part of the Elements of Inspiration. Your life is an element of inspiration.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, anytime. Listen,
you so much.
I know you've gone through some things, but God has allowed certain things to happen for such a time as this because we needed to see your son, and we're seeing him live, grow, and thrive. So once again, we so appreciate you, Miss AP.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Take
Thank
care.
you for having me.
Always.
I will.
God bless you.
God bless you too.
All right, everybody. That is our interview up close and personal with Miss AP on the Elements of Inspiration show. Remember, you can reach out to her and see her on social media. Rewind this podcast. Share it with other people. Cash App, APRENTISS. And go ahead and support. Autism speaks so much louder. And we can be there to assist everyone who has children or dealing with autism, because everybody's life is equal and fair. And these are definitely the angels of the earth. Stay close, America. More Element of Inspirational Brother Marcus podcast, along with the Element of Inspiration, Quicker Picker Uppers, and all that good stuff. Stay close. We got more inspirational podcasts coming up.